So hello, everybody. This is a great honor to be given 5 minutes to share with you how 2020 has been and some reflections. And I know that this has been a really difficult year in many ways for many, many people. And so what I wanted to do with this little presentation was to share with you as if you were at my home, so that I could basically give you some hospitality, some cups of tea, and some pretty pictures, just to raise how you're feeling a bit. So what has been my journey this year? The big one, I think, for me, but for many, many people, has been about living with loss and grief. We've lost many, many different things. We've lost people. We've lost the way of life that we knew. We've lost our European membership. We've lost the opportunity to travel and so on. And I wanted to thank Katie here for the work that she's been doing online with the death and dying group, because I think that's been very, very helpful for many people on having a permaculture approach with living with a new level of loss. And I want to say, not only about travel, but also just there's so much about the way we've been used to thinking about our lives and what was possible, which is now no longer the case. It's just different now. And so I've been thinking a lot for myself, but also for other people. How can we cope with that? And where can we go so that we actually find a way of having courage? So another thing that we've been learning to live with is limits and constraints. This is a picture. I'm very, very lucky because I've got gardens, famously, but this is a view that I've been looking at for the last year, day in and day out, and it's a new way of living, really, to think that what is immediately outside your window is perhaps the realm in which you have to work, and that these ideas and the practice that we used to have of going off and doing journeys and so on, it's really hard to give that up. And yet it is a door also. This constraint can become a door to becoming deeper and engaging more deeply with where we are and the people immediately around us. How can we respond to that? Well, for me, I'm just sharing what has been possible for me. Is walking has made a very, very big difference to me. Walking every day as a kind of practice, getting that physical exercise and the fresh air, and living particularly in the moment, in the seasons, and so on. And I think that there's even a tiny practice of going out and greeting the wild plants growing in the cracks in the pavement. I don't know if you saw, there was a thing online about this that went a bit viral, but I think it can really, really help us to say, hello dandelions, hello, whatever you see, that to recognize that wherever we are, no matter how constrained it is, life is actually here with us. And also, we can create some special moments with some of our friends. And I just wanted to show you this photograph. I have a dear friend, and we meet in the park and under lockdown. And these are this is my best china from the charity shop, and the tea towel on the park bench. But we do this to create a special moment. And the sun happened to be shining that day. And I know it's a bit of a girly picture. And I was thinking, okay, maybe if you're not into cups of tea, you could bring a pint of brew or something like that, but I think it's really important for us now to particularly cultivate our friendships, and I'm so grateful, really, for all of you friends that I have in the Permaculture Association, because we all are really in this together. And then, well, what do we do? Where do we find the resources? For me personally, I have had an ongoing struggle with depression, and I am absolutely not the only one. I know this for a fact, because I've spoken with many other of you about this question. And so for me, every day it's been a question of asking myself, well, how did I cope in the past with my own life challenges? And those of you who know me well know some of my life challenges. And of course, the challenges from the past haven't gone away, and some of them are very, very present in my life. But I remind myself that I am resilient, and it may be painful, but it is possible to put one foot in front of the other. And then the other thing I asked myself, well, what did people do formerly? What did our parents do in World War II? What did people do during the plague years previously, and so on? How did they live, and what examples can we follow to give us courage? And then also, of course, what can we learn from Indigenous wisdom? This year I read Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and that was a game changer for me. This changing from looking at the world to being in the world of nature. For me, it's been the most healing thing of all. And if you haven't read her book yet, I really urge you to read Braiding Sweetgrass. And then finally, creating a spiritual practice. Whatever your path is, do it, because this will offer you courage and stability. And what do? Well, I sit in my meadow and I listen to the bees. That's what helps me. I don't call it anything. It doesn't attach with any spiritual, historical practice or any great religion or anything like that. But it is, for me, what helps me. And I just want to share that with you. Even if it's a tiny thing, it really can help us in the dark times that we go through and that we're going to go through. And then finally, we can draw courage from other people. These are some of my heroes and heroines. Obviously, Greta and Jane. I love this photograph. I look at it whenever I'm feeling down because it just gives me hope and courage. And then I want to introduce you to Marula Zigabe, who's in Congo, DR Congo. And he's a permaculture practitioner there who has developed an amazing entrepreneurship about creating soil and growing food in unlikely places, and also creating fuel briquettes that can be burnt in rocket stoves for fuel without cutting down trees. And it's called Briquette de Kivu. So he's one of, I've been in touch with him on Facebook and so on, and he's really a great hero of mine. But I'm sure you will have your own heroes. I don't know who they are for you, but watch them and learn from them and take courage from them, because it will help on those days when you don't feel very much like a hero yourself. And then finally, keep calm and do permaculture. So there we are. Thank you.